Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Buck Theater, and word is breaking today that apparently World War Z 2 has got a production start date, or at least a production start time, and that is going to be June of 2019. Yeah, a full 6 years after the release from the first movie, do they go into production on World War Z 2. And what we know right now, according to the producers, is that Brad Pitt is still attached to play Jerry Lane. He's going to reprise his role. And David Fincher is actually going to direct the movie. David Fincher is going to direct a sequel. The last time, and quite frankly, the only time David Fincher has ever directed a sequel was Alien 3. And we all know how that one turned out. Thanks 20th Century Fox. I'm surprised they were able to get Fincher to come on board to do this. To be honest with you, I'm really surprised that fucking Fincher, is going to do World War Z 2. Now, they haven't talked about the script. They haven't talked about what to expect, except that Dennis Kelly, who wrote Utopia and Matilda, is going to be the person that's currently tackling the script, and they're working with him on it. Now, I have questions. Okay, so World War Z is obviously based off of Max Brooks's book World War Z, which is a follow-up to the Zombie Survival Guide. If you have not read either of those books, you are seriously missing out. It is a great deal of fun. It is both books are fantastic. What I loved is the evolution from the Zombie Survival Guide to World War Z. In the Zombie Survival Guide, obviously the book is about things you might need to know and how to kill a zombie, very technical, very in details, which I thought was fun, but it was intermixed with stories of survival and stories of zombies and how they were used in World War II to try to take out the Japanese, and how they've just other outbreaks that have happened over the years. And those were always fun to listen to, always very interesting and intriguing to listen to. My personal favorite from that was when you have the gang members that had encountered a zombie outbreak in South Los Angeles and they basically had to take over a middle school that was almost like a fortress in the middle of the ghetto as a way to stay alive. And when they were able to finally get the cops there, they had executed almost all of the zombies who the cops didn't realize were zombies. And as a result, the gang members were all arrested. It was a very interesting story, a very fun one. And of course, that moved over into World War Z, which is an entire collection of stories based on interviews with fictional characters that a reporter is cobbling together different accounts from the overall event. And these were amazing if you listen to the audiobook, because you get Mark Hamill is in it as a soldier who was in the Battle of Yonkers, where they took on a horde of 50,000 zombies, not knowing what they could do, not knowing that bullets didn't stop them unless they were shot in the head, not knowing that explosions didn't stop them if they took them out at the legs, not knowing that fire would only make them walking Molotov cocktails. They didn't know any of that. And the story is interesting. The interview is interesting, and it's made only better by Mark Hamill coming in and retelling it. My favorite story out of World War Z is the one of the security guard. The security guard who essentially he's kind of like Paris Hilton's security guard, and he ends up going to a compound where a bunch of other rich celebrities live, and it ends up being overtaken by people trying to survive, because again, this is very much like a fortress that the celebrity had owned. And they go in and they kill pretty much all of the celebrities, right? They kill them and then take over the compound to protect themselves from the oncoming zombies. Whereas at the end of that particular story, Henry Rollins' character, the security guard, steals jewelry, diamonds off of, I believe, his client or one of the other people that are there, goes out to the coastline, which is on the back end of the property, to steal a boat to head off into whatever, in hopes of trying to just stay alive and having something he can use to barter in order to get there. And it was just, again, such an interesting, compelling tale. And so when World War Z, the movie, came out, it was vastly different from the book. Almost nothing was from the book. And as fans of the book, we were not very happy with what we saw. We were not very happy with what Paramount put together. But the movie, if you remove the World War Z aspect from it, was a lot of fun. I felt it was a lot of fun. I love that the movie went from a macro perspective in the first two acts to a micro perspective in the last act. Granted, the movie was shot on a $190 million budget, and a lot of that came in from reshooting the last third of the film. which is one of the reasons why they took it from the original Russia setting, where Jerry gets shot down in Russia, becomes a prisoner in I think like Siberia for a while, ends up leading a revolt against his captors and against the zombies. And you see a little bit of that footage in the end credit sequence of World War Z, but Paramount thought it didn't test well, or for some reason they didn't like it. So they had it rewritten by, I think, Damon Lindelof, and they wrote the World Health Organization part where they figure out how to use a common cold in order to turn the zombies off of you. Right, that's what it was. But the movie went on 6 years ago, went on to gross $540 million worldwide. So over $500 million off of this movie, and it's been silent ever since. It's been quiet ever since. And that to me is a very weird thing. We've heard talks and rumors, reports over the years where World War Z was going to be getting a sequel that wasn't necessarily a sequel, but more of a reboot of the franchise. And given the fact that they brought in Brad Pitt, and they got David Fincher, I'm thinking that this is a situation that's going to fall in line with that particular mindset, where it's going to be, if anything, it's going to be the war itself. This is my speculation, my theory. The war itself, but told from the perspective of Jerry Lane's character, where he travels from incursion to incursion around the globe, trying to get an update on what's happening to fight the zombies. And this is where we're getting those interpersonal stories, where it's going to be like him going through these different events that will ultimately end up being what leads us to, I think, to getting a broader concept, a broader idea of the war. And I think that would be fantastic. Follow the book, use some of those stories. Tell us the Battle of Yonkers, the story of the pilot who crashes in Louisiana swamps and is on the radio with someone trying to direct her to safety, and how she is trying to survive by herself on her own. And it's just such a compelling story, such a compelling tale that Max Brooks wrote together, that fans want to see put into this movie, that fans want to see very much used. And if we get that in World War Z 2, if we get anything like that, I am very happy. I'm very much looking forward to it, and I'm excited to see what's going to come next. So June 2019 means that we won't see the movie until sometime until 2020. So it's still a couple years away, but there's an update. There's some kind of you could say movement forward on the project. It's not entirely dead yet, and I think it's going to be cool. And I'm excited to see what happens, and I hope you guys are too. So here's the thing. If you guys saw World War Z, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. What do you think of this? Do you think that World War Z 2 is necessary? Should we just leave it alone? What do you think they're going to do with it? And also, if you made it this far, just type in Max Brooks into the chat so I know you guys made it. Max Brooks is one of my favorite authors. He is the son of Mel Brooks, who's almost like my idol in some respects. And so, yeah, I'm very excited to see what they do with this. But be sure to thumbs up the video, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.